Whoever is going to eat this, congratulations. I know I'm gonna eat it. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Frank. I'm a professional chef, and this is a $500 steak dinner.
Hi, I'm Lorenzo. I'm a home cook, and this is gonna be a $16 steak dinner. Oh, pardon you.
Coca-Cola, huh?
I mean, this is just somebody went out in the forest and went nuts. This says it is Frank's, and I have to tell you, first off, poor handwriting, Frank.
So for my meal, I was planning on a more high-end restaurant feel to it. I had a butter-based ribeye steak.
Holy smokes, look at that. I don't think I've even ordered that before.
I had fondant potatoes.
Fondant potato, what does that mean?
With caviar and creme fraiche.
Huh? Oh, caviar. Ugh, caviar.
Some bordelaise sauce with black truffles.
What is this bordelaise? What? What is what is that?
And some broccolini with wild mushrooms.
And this is something I wore at prom? What the fudge, you guys? I feel slightly evil. It's like we broke into a 5-star Michelin restaurant and I just grabbed everything I possibly could and said, let's have some fun.
With Lorenzo's recipe, I have a little more simpler ingredients and maybe something that's a little more commonplace in your kitchen. Flank steak, Coca-Cola, low-sodium soy sauce, garlic, ginger, broccoli, some chili flake, russet potatoes, scallions, sour cream, and cheddar. So these ingredients might be a little simpler, but I think that I can elevate them and make them a little better. If I had to guess, this would probably cost about $25 to $30. Oh, 16, really? Oh, it's cheaper than I thought.
It's a little intimidating because it's really fancy schmancy pachancy. I mean, it's a few $100 that I don't have.
The fondant potatoes I plan to make sound really fancy. And I hope Lorenzo doesn't get scared off by that.
Why? Why? Salt, pepper, butter. Potato, simple. What's wrong with you? I like how I'm looking at Frank's recipe. It's actually just ingredients. It doesn't tell me step-by-step stuff. I'm like, I think I'm just looking for some help.
And it's kind of just that next step up from just roasting potatoes in a pan.
I'm a little clueless on a couple of things. Is there a chance that I could maybe ask somebody for a little help? Rosemary! How am I? I'm panicking a little bit, actually. I feel like I'm on an island and I just drew help in the sand. Can you? Fondant potatoes.
Oh, they're delicious. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna trim off the very edges and you're going to cut them in half and peel them. They're gonna look kind of like scallops and sear the top, get it real crispy.
Okay.
And you're going to take them and flip them, sear the other side.
Okay.
And then you're gonna add a stock, like a chicken stock or a vegetable stock.
Okay.
And finish them in the oven.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. I appreciate it. Take care. It just sounds more complicated, but it's potatoes. You know, I can do it. Bing! Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, so I've got all my lovely russet potatoes, pretty much like little stools, and I'm gonna sear both sides.
Originally, Lorenzo planned for this to be a regular baked potato. So what we're gonna do is twice baked potatoes. A little more fat, a little more flavor, just a little more deliciousness, okay? Baked potato butter is great. Twice baked potato with cream cheese and cheddar is even better.
All right, so I have the garlic. I'm just gonna crush it. I have the ingredients and I know, it just doesn't tell me how to put it together. That's the mystery.
First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bake it. I'm gonna poke a few holes in it just to let steam escape so my skin doesn't rupture. I'm gonna wrap it in foil. I'm gonna bake this potato about 350, 45 minutes to an hour.
I already hear Rosemary saying that's not long enough. It has to be darker and you didn't sear it long enough. And this is a Gigantosaurus tongs. What the heck?
So this potato was baked for about 50 minutes. When you squeeze, you can see there's a little bit of give. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the potato, slice it in half. And very carefully, with not trying to break the skin, I'm going to take the center of the potato out. I want to leave a little bit of a wall there so it's not just skin, just so that it holds together. And I'm just going to kind of like mash this up a little, just so I don't have any big chunks.
Yeah, see, I should have turned it up all the way. That's more like it. Oh, there you go. Hello. That is, all right, Rosemary would be happy with that. Okay. Okie dokie Sudoki.
I'm gonna add all my flavorings to this. A little bit of sour cream. Well, maybe not a little bit, maybe a lot. Salt and pepper, definitely. We're gonna grate a little cheese. I got some nice cheddar here. Don't be skimpy with the cheese. It's gonna add some richness, a little bit of sharpness to this. I'm gonna use scallions as a flavoring for this. This is one of those ingredients that people will do this. They'll cut the root end off. They'll either use all the white and throw away the green, or use all the green and throw away the white. I use the whole thing. All of it's good. And we're gonna mix it really well. Always taste your food. Delicious. At this point, you can probably just scoop it in with a spoon. I'm gonna use a pastry bed, okay? It gives me a little more direction. I can make it exactly the way I want it. It doesn't look like you didn't care and just kind of flopped it on there. The pastry bed gives a little more of an elegant feel to it. So at this point, we're gonna put them in the oven, and we're gonna let the top get a little brown, let them warm through, and then we'll garnish later.
I need to turn this down because I don't want to burn my butter. I'm not sure how much butter is in here, but I would imagine, yeah, of course, you add the butter first. I'm guessing that's 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, 4. Oh, I'm going for it. It's like a stick of butter, I think. Let's let that go. Oh, let me put my yeah. While that's happening, I mean, potatoes and butter. You win. Rosemary. Hugs. We are moving on to the sauce that I have no idea how to pronounce. Bordelaise sauce. Thank you, Frank.
In Lorenzo's recipe, he marinates the steak in the Coke and the soy sauce. I'm not gonna do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the marinade stuff and make a glaze out of it. So if you wanna dip into it later, you can dip into it. If you wanna just taste a nice piece of meat, taste a nice piece of meat. Hopefully no one shook this up. So in places that I've seen Coca-Cola used in marinades and baking, it usually comes from the fact that there was sugar rationing during World War II. So I'm gonna cook this down, basically just dumping everything to the pot and letting it reduce down. And I'm gonna look for this. Right now the bubbles are gonna be really small and kind of fluttery. And then once this starts to get a little thicker, you're gonna see bigger bubbles that take a little longer to burst. You wanna just reduce it until it starts to thicken rather than till it's dry. If it gets dry, it's gonna burn.
All right, now I'm gonna do the red wine reduction. So I need to reduce this about a cup. Frank says it's about a cup, a little bit more than a cup. I'm going to add my shallots, fresh thyme, and bay leaf. Easy peasy. So far, so good. Ow, no, just kidding. Let's put a couple of these in. We can also, that looks like a very rich sauce. The color's fantastic. Not quite sure how thick it's supposed to be. Earth calling Rosemary. Come in, Rosemary. What did she say? Can I ask you one more thing if you have time? Okay. Sauce, I have sauce that he wants me to make. I'm telling you what, Frank is not getting the Christmas card this year, I'm telling you. It calls for 1 cup of wine. How much do I reduce that?
So stick a spoon in and then run your finger down the back.
Oh.
If it grates, that's a nice thick enough sauce.
Okay. If not, worst case scenario, just drink the wine when I'm done. That is the test she wanted me to do, the old back of a spoon test.
And if it leaves a nice clean line, I know my sauce is thick enough.
Totally coated the spoon. Thanks, Rosemary. Turn this off, and all I have to do now is shave some black truffle. Oh, wow. Never had one of these guys in my presence. It's earthy.
With truffles, for the most part, they're best when they're freshly sliced on top of things.
See, how much does he want us to do? Oh, the whole thing? Wow.
There's truffle products that have kind of those truffle flavorings in them, but when you get a fresh truffle, it should be sliced at the table in front of your guests. It's not just for the flavor, it's for the show as well.
It tastes expensive. All right, guys. Bordelaise sauce with black truffles.
The next step is to do our steak.
This steak is enormous. I mean, you guys.
Now with the ribeye that I planned, the high-end ribeye, I had planned on sauteing it in a cast iron pan. The way I'm gonna cook this flank steak is similar to the ribeye. I really just wanna get a nice kind of caramelized coating on it. So I'm gonna season the steak first, a fair amount of salt and black pepper. With the salt, we go fairly heavy.
Liberally. So I need this hot, like super hot, you guys. This is the nicest skillet I've ever seen in my life. I like this. Christmas presents, please.
The key to this is that you don't want the oil to splash on you. So I'm just gonna drop it in the pan away from me.
Here we go, guys.
And I'm gonna let it stay there. I'll leave it alone.
Let it go.
This is gonna take a few minutes.
Send these smoke signals. Dinner's almost ready, people. Come and get it.
I'm gonna flip it away from me. Swirl it around so I have a nice amount of fat. If you look at the steak, it has a beautiful crust on it now. It's gonna add a ton of flavor to this steak. It's going to add some texture as well. You're gonna get a little crunchy bits.
Let's just throw these in. We smashed it. Oh my God.
What I'm gonna do to check temperature is I'm not necessarily gonna use a thermometer. If I push on this piece of meat and it gives me some spring back, that means that it's cooking. If I push on this piece of meat and it leaves a dent, that means it's pretty much raw in the center. So this I know is still pretty rare here, and here it's kind of cooking up.
You guys. I think I'm teary-eyed a little bit. It's so beautiful. I'm crying. It's so pretty.
Lorenzo's issue is going to be that's a really thick cut of steak, and usually with those, getting the right temperature is a little more of guesswork. So Lorenzo might want to use a thermometer for that.
Ooh, medium rare. Perfect.
So I'm going to let this steak rest for about 10 minutes.
I really want to dig in and eat this right now, but you need to let it rest.
If I slice it now, all the juice is going to flow out.
Be patient. It'll be worth it. Let's move on to the broccolini.
The expensive version, I was going to use broccolini. We have a rich steak, a really rich potato dish, and the broccolini is going to have just a little bit of bitterness to cut that. Broccolini tastes really great by itself, needs a little salt, pepper, maybe a little garlic, but everyday broccoli is delicious if you treat it right. So normally people take the broccoli, cut the head off, and everything else gets thrown in the garbage. What I like to do is I save the stems. So if you're going to serve the stems, you have to peel them, because otherwise it's a little on the tough side, and it sometimes needs a little help. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some garlic and a little bit of ginger. A lot of times people will boil broccoli, and boiled broccoli, I mean, there's nothing worse than that, right? It smells bad, it tastes bad, it gets too soft. I like to roast broccoli. It adds a little bit more depth of flavor to it, and I'm going to use some of Lorenzo's ingredients here to make that just a little bit better. A little bit of chili flake, just to let him know it was there. I'm going to use a little bit of soy sauce, I'm going to use a little bit of salt. Both of them have salt in them, but salt kind of gives a pure, plain flavor, where soy sauce kind of gives a richness. I'm going to throw this into an oven about 350 for about 15 minutes. You'll see the broccoli starts to break down. It'll start to get a little bit of caramelization or charring on top, and that's what I want. I want to take it out of the oven when it's just a little bit crispy.
I'm actually going to take it out, stopping the cooking process by submerging it into ice water. Next, mushrooms. I just have to start seeing what these are. These are great.
Lorenzo should make sure that he gets those mushrooms nice and caramelized. Any mushrooms that kind of go in a pan and they just kind of sit there and boil, not good. The texture's not really great. You want those mushrooms to be just slightly crispy when you put them on the plate.
These are very thin, delicate mushrooms, so I think it's okay to add whatever I need to add to finish this off. My broccolini looks good to me. Let's try it. Wow! This is lovely. Lovely, lovely, jubbly is all I have to say. And wow. It's heavy. It hurt my wrist. It's so heavy.
The most important thing for this piece of steak is to cut against the grain. That's because if you cut it with the grain, it's just going to be super chewy.
It looks so good. Does it look good?
When I'm plating a dish, I'm usually looking for a little textural difference, a little height difference, just to make it interesting. If you just throw everything on a plate flat, it's kind of boring. So I'm gonna kind of just prop things up a little, do a little chef wizardry, and try and make it just look a little bit nicer than what kind of grandma would have put on the plate.
Creme fraiche, caviar. Ooh, it's the green caviar. Let's put a little bit of chives on the sides. Oh, broccolini has shaved fresh Parmesan.
So we have our beautiful steak propped up on our broccoli stems. I got a little bit of that soy and Coca-Cola glaze, and that's my take on Mr. Lorenzo's dish. There's a little piece left on my board. That's the chef's secret. We eat all the ends. We make staff meal out of it sometimes, but that's my snack, okay?
Truffles and that's it. That looks good, man. If I do say so myself. Steak?
Hey,
Frank,
how you doing?
it is an honor and a pleasure. I'm telling you right now, sir.
Well, look at that.
It looks good. Oh, that is my potato. Oh, it's a twice.
Yeah.
Between.
So, you know, we took a little chef's poetic license with
Yes,
this,
you
right? We made like a
nice.
little glaze with the Coca and the soy sauce.
Oh, very good.
The
Very
broccoli
good.
we roasted with some ginger and soy, and then we did a twice baked potato. So I'm going to give it a taste with this sauce and a little bit of mushroom on there.
Okay. I don't even know what kind of mushroom that is.
I think it's a chanterelle. Delicious. Your seasoning is wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, man. Great.
Really.
Sauce is on point.
I never had a sauce like this before.
It's one of those classic French sauces. You know, you would think it'd be too rich, but it actually is a good foil
It
for the steak.
looks like it would be so
No,
rich because the color. Look at the color.
It's a great compliment.
It's different. That is good.
Let's taste yours now.
Okay, let us get a little bit of this and your...
I'm nervous too now. My heart's beating. I'm a little worried.
What is the reduction? Is this like the
This
soy
is the
sauce?
soy sauce, Coca-Cola, ginger garlic.
This tastes like mama. What my mama made. The ginger and soy sauce are so nice together.
And we roasted the broccoli with the ginger and garlic and a little bit of chili flake.
Baked in the oven.
Baked in the oven, yeah.
Oh my God. And it's a different texture because you do it in the oven. Nice.
I'm going
nice.
in. I'm gonna try
Yeah.
to
Frank. Oh my gosh.
See
I
how
got
we
it.
did.
It's yummy. The sauce is really delicious.
It really complements. It almost tastes a little smoky, believe it or not. You know, I was a little nervous about Coca-Cola. I saw Coca-Cola, and now like I'm going to add that to my kind of tool belt. You know, you don't think of Coca-Cola as an ingredient that you use in really good cooking, but that's delicious.
Thanks, Frank.
Yeah.
Thanks, Frank.
That was fun.
That was really fun and delicious. Eat up, you guys.